Cars used to just need a wrench and some elbow grease. Now half of them need a laptop. Today we're reacting to real mechanics losing their minds over the worst engineered parts in modern cars. And some of these designs feel personal. Let's get into it. All right, listen to this first one.
On this episode of Why I Hate Modern Vehicles, electronic park brakes. So, most modern vehicles now come with an electronic park brake that you actually need to hook up the scan tool just so you can change brake pads. Like I said, there's a lot of things about modern vehicles I hate. This is one of them. A scan tool to do brakes. Just ridiculous.
Humble brake job, one of the most basic repairs in automotive history, now requires a laptop and a software license.
I'm working on a 2025 Ford F-150, and this guy's getting a level kit installed, but I just couldn't believe how annoying Fords are. And I saw something about the Ford CEO coming out saying the reason, well, most dealerships are struggling is because they don't have any good mechanics around, and it seems like something is lost on him about, you know, the reason why. And just working on a brand new truck, I can tell you exactly why you don't have any mechanics at your dealerships, because if you look at the way they design stuff at Ford, and I mean, I'm a Chevy guy, but this is just absurd. I mean, you got a 2025 F-150 that you can't get these. In order to get these struts out, look at all the shit you got to take off. You got to take the upper control arm off. You got to take the fucking tie rod off. You got to take the CV axle out. You got to take all this extra stuff out. You got to make sure you're not going to break any of this shit. You got to take all these off, and just to pry down on it and stress your lower ball joint, stress all this shit just to get this out. And might I add, who puts studs on your struts? This would be so much easier. You just put a bolt there. Put a bolt here. What? That's all you got to do. Put a bolt there. I would have got this out 25 minutes ago. But no, they don't want to do that. Or they could have put a stud over here and put the nut on here. No, they didn't do that either. What they did was they opted for the worst design possible. Look at this. Look what are they doing? Look at this. This is just corrosion waiting to happen. Look right here. See that? See, get the light in there. That's a tube. You know what happens with bolts and tubes? Water goes in there, and these will just snap right off. And not only that, I mean, look at this. Look at the design of this CV axle. See that? That's a 10mm thread hole. This is what the nut looks like. That holds the whole CV axle on. The whole CV axle. Are you kidding me?
The internet clearly agrees with him. One commenter joked this genius design saved Ford $2 per vehicle, which honestly might be the most accurate cost-benefit analysis in automotive history.
Guys, this is why I hate working on BMWs. Let me show you. We've got a coolant leak on this BMW. We've done a pressure test on it. This pipe here, you can see that goes underneath the manifold, is leaking. So we got to basically remove all of this here, the whole manifold, to get access to that pipe. This pipe costs around about anywhere between 30 to 50 quid. In my eyes, I would have thought you can find another way to put a pipe around or on top or whatever the case is, but such a big job for like a 30 to 50 pound pipe. This is one of the main reasons why I hate working on BMWs.
And the internet had jokes ready. One commenter told him he should be thrilled about the extra billable hours, which, fair point, but I'm pretty sure financially incentivized suffering isn't exactly a selling point BMW puts in the brochure.
Alright engineers, y'all got some fucking explaining to do. Some of y'all like to say that y'all don't do shit just to piss us mechanics off. I disagree. Explain this. So I'm doing a tensioner on this 2020 Sentra. As you can see, the tensioner is right here. Now, the way that the tensioner is held on is that there's a Torx bolt right in there. I don't know if you can see that. Right in the center there. Now, of course, the tolerances are too tight to fit an actual torque socket into there. So the engineers came up with a genius idea. They said, let's give our mechanics an access hole. Only thing is, they put the access hole here, which requires us to drop the engine down. There's my finger. There's the bolt all the way up there. Here's my finger. So engineers, if y'all really don't hate us, then why didn't you just put the fucking hole 3 inches higher?
Being a mechanic used to mean something. You used to be able to take things apart, fix it on your own, put it all back together, and you knew you were the one to get it done. And that felt great. But now, they're taking that feeling away from us. Let's take this Honda Accord I just fixed. Now the CVT transmission went out because the belt snapped inside. A very common issue, but they won't let us fix it. Now I have this one fixed now, it's running and driving, and the only way I was able to do that was by buying a new transmission and replacing it. And that's not what I really like to do.
And this isn't just this guy being dramatic either. CVT belt failures being effectively non-serviceable and requiring full transmission replacement is a widely known complaint across CVT-equipped vehicles. All right, watch this next one, because Ford apparently looked at the water pump, one of the simplest parts on a car, and thought, you know what this needs? A $1,000 cover charge.
Ford did it again. Super common issue, Fords on all these edges, Tauruses. The water pump, normally easy on most cars, right? It bolts to the front of the cover. Ford decided it's a good idea to put it behind the timing cover. See a ton of these, probably at least one a month, if not more. We got 2 in the shop right now. Basically, they made it so you got to spend $1,000 just to replace your water pump. You have to take the whole engine apart, valve covers, timing cover, and timing chain to replace your water pump.
But hey, at least Ford's mistake only costs you money. Watch this next one, because Audi somehow managed to make wheel alignments terrifying.
Not a single independent repair shop wanted to perform a wheel alignment on our Audi Q7 for the same reason: the driver assist system. Since this system controls the steering, it needs to be perfectly calibrated to ensure that when the vehicle is trying to drive straight, the wheels are actually pointed straight. Even a slight shift to the left or the right can throw the whole system out of whack and lead to a dangerous situation. That means more money out of your pocket for dealer service.
Been a mechanic for 5 years for John Deere. And sometimes I still look at new machines and think, what the fuck is this over-engineered piece of shit that they just put on this?
And honestly, the comments summed up the mechanic versus engineer rivalry perfectly, with one person joking that a mechanic must have slept with an engineer's wife at some point, because there's simply no other explanation for this level of design revenge. All right, listen to this next one, because this Chevy tech is basically here to expose the labor time scam hiding in plain sight.
Chevy, I got a bone to pick with you. 18 Chevy Equinox, don't mind his dry rotted tires, starter replacement. Take a gander under here, they want you taking this front transfer case out, calls for 5 hours. If it's front wheel drive, it calls for 0.7. If you do a reach around over here, take the wheel off, you can see I got the starter out in about 15 minutes. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't very fun, but it wasn't that hard. I guess people just don't own long extensions and swivel sockets, or people are just too soft nowadays, or their guts are so big that they can't fit in here. I don't know. Don't get me wrong, I know the dealer guys out there, they gotta make their money somehow, right? Like 0.5 for cabin filters that take 5 minutes. In my eyes, there's 3 ways to handle this situation. 1, you could do it the hard way for 5 hours, charge the customer 5 hours, or you could charge them 5 hours, do it in an hour, doing it this way. Or what I would do as someone who manages a private shop, tell the customer, hey, calls for 5 hours, but I know a way to sneak it out. I'm gonna try. Might be 2 hours, but it's gonna be like $300-400 cheaper. Being honest like that, saving the customer money, you just got a lifetime customer. And you can feel better sleeping at night. It's not all about making the money, guys. Everybody struggles to make their money nowadays. Times are tough. We gotta be out there helping each other. Obviously, not all mechanics are dishonest and would overcharge the customer in this case, but most would, and that's kind of a problem. I don't know what needs to change, but maybe people just need to change and are too cold-hearted nowadays.
But hey, at least that guy found a shortcut. Watch this next one, because replacing a headlight requires removing what feels like a small nation's worth of bolts.
All right, fam, so today's job is to replace the headlight housing on this Fusion. So I have the old headlight out. As you can see, it's definitely seen better days. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace both of them. I have that side out. I still have to take this side. Yeah, unfortunately you have to drop the bumper to even get to the, well, let me show you over here. The lower bolts, as you can see through there, like, it's crazy. So yeah, there's like a trillion bolts that you have to take off this car. And I got some more in my little tray there. So yeah, guys, that's what I'm doing today. All right, so here is the new light that I'm putting in. That looks awesome. Got the new headlights in. Guys, they look amazing. Now, all I have to do is put the Fusion back together. That's gonna be fun.
Chris Fix just got his lift, and even he can't resist a little dig at bad engineering just a few weeks ago.
Hey guys, Chris Fix here in my new garage, and I'm using my brand new bend pack lift for the very first time to do an oil change on my dad's dream car. First, slide the arms under the car, and on this car the lift point is very easy to use, so just slide it right under. Next, you want to lift the car off the ground just a few inches, and then you want to give it a good shake to make sure she's stable and balanced. It's better to test this now rather than when the car is 7 feet in the air. Now you can lift the car the rest of the way, and notice my proper lifting technique with the crossed leg lean. Once you have the car lifted all the way, drop it down onto the safety locks, that way it's safe to work under. Good, and check it out, I could just roll my tools right under here. How awesome is this? And I even have the roll and catch can, so let's get it under the drain plug, which is right here. Now we can crack the drain plug loose. Good. And check out this amazing engineering for such a common maintenance item. And you can't forget to grab an oil sample to make sure the engine is in good shape. And you also want to check the drain plug magnet, make sure there's no chunks of metal, and we're clean here, which is good. And due to the amazing design, I did get a little oil on the floor, but since I put down an epoxy floor, cleanup is a breeze. Man, what a difference from working in the driveway.
Flying cars. We were supposed to have flying fucking cars by now. No. Nope. 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 You know what we got? Plastic fuel filter housings. I've pulled out every step I could think of. And you would think, oh, it's plastic. It can't get seized. It can get seized. All right? Do you have any idea how much force it takes to not only break a screwdriver, but a 1/2-inch jive socket wrench too? Anyways, if you need me, I'll be here.
But hey, at least we've heard from the mechanics. Now watch this next one, because we're finally getting the engineer's side of the story.
Sandro, what are your honest thoughts on automotive engineers?
Automotive engineers. So, on one hand, to try to be positive, they come up with some brilliant ideas and designs to work around what the EPA is restricting the automotive industry to, especially in this country. And yeah, I mean, and it works for the most part. That being said, I just wish that more of them could step out from behind the computer desk and monitor and actually get some real world experience with the vehicles that they're designing. Some of the designs, while on paper are beautiful, intricate, and everything's going to work flawlessly, in real world applications, it's a disaster. It's a disaster, or it's just as technicians, we're beating our heads against the wall saying, every time we have to change the oil, are you serious? We have to make this much of a mess, or something like that. Sometimes it's worse than that, but yeah, I wish more of them could get some hands-on experience with what they have and are designing, to see what it's like in the real world and not just on a computer monitor.